Hello, and welcome to Anacapa Island, one of the 5 islands in Channel Islands National Park. My name is Ranger Kelly, and I work to help protect the unique plants and animals found here in the park. These natural resources include those that you see around me here on the islands, as well as those that exist around the islands. Channel Islands National Park protects nearly 200 square miles of ocean, including one of the most biologically diverse ecosystems in the world, the kelp forest. The kelp forest provides food, shelter, and protection to nearly 1,000 different marine organisms. How do marine biologists like me at Channel Islands National Park study this vast underwater resource? Wearing scuba gear that allows us to breathe underwater, we monitor or collect information about the kelp forest using specialized underwater equipment. Working in this environment can be a real challenge. Can you imagine recording your observations while underwater? We use waterproof paper attached to a plastic slate to record our observations. We call this information data. Just like scientists who work on land, we study the underwater ecosystem carefully to collect information about its overall health. Here, 2 park scientists are reeling out a transect tape in the kelp forest, where they will complete several different monitoring techniques to gather data. Most important of all, during underwater data collection is scuba diver safety. Breathing out of a scuba tank at increased pressure can lead to a buildup of nitrogen gas, which can be harmful to the human body. To help eliminate the nitrogen gas in our bodies, we make a brief safety stop at 15 feet to breathe 100% oxygen before surfacing. Why is monitoring the health of the kelp forest so important? It's because the data we collect help us better understand the complex interactions between seaweeds and animals and the natural and human activities that affect them. Natural impacts, like an El Niño event, for example, which brings warmer than usual water to the region, can temporarily affect the stability of an ecosystem. It is important to have baseline information prior to these natural events so we can better understand how the ecosystem may have changed. But what about things like climate change, pollution, fishing practices, or introduced species? Do they have an impact? How do scientists tell what's having an impact and what isn't? The key to answering these questions is to monitor the health of the kelp forest over a long period of time. By gathering data over a span of many years, marine biologists can gain a more complete understanding of the ecosystem. Take the example of the wavy turban snail at the Channel Islands. If you were a marine biologist studying this population over just the 5-year span highlighted in blue, what conclusion might you reach based on the data collected? The graph shows a rapid decline in the population, which might lead you to believe that turban snails are in trouble. But what might you conclude if you only studied turban snails during this 5-year span? Now, take a closer look at the data from the entire range of study. Now what would you conclude? Because of long-term monitoring, scientists came to understand that turban snail populations actually increase just after El Niño events, but then return to stable population levels during periods of normal ocean conditions. Now that you have seen the example of the turban snail, study the following graph. You can see that over time, the population of pink abalone steadily declined around all the park islands over the same 30-year period. Populations of several other abalone species had similar outcomes. This led marine biologists to further study the causes, identifying a disease called withering syndrome as a serious culprit, and leading the state of California to close the abalone fisheries to protect the animals that remained. Slowly, many abalone species are starting to make a comeback within park waters, which may never have happened if we hadn't been keeping a close watch on their populations. Another use of all this data was to assist the state of California in establishing marine protected areas, or MPAs, at the Channel Islands, where no fishing or collecting is allowed. Marine protected areas can help the recovery of entire ecosystems rather than just single species. So, monitoring the health of the kelp forest, while challenging to do, is critical in making sure that this ecosystem is preserved for us to enjoy today and for many years to come. So the next time we meet, I hope it will be underwater in the kelp forests at the Channel Islands.